The question is how the writer of fiction creates the environment for the characters to move around and do the actions. How these characters are shaped in the hands of the author. And what are the methods or techniques the author uses to accomplish this masterful characterization? Here are 7 methods. Hello and welcome back to another video about literature. My name is Sohail, and if you're interested in topics related to literature, reading, literary criticism and so on, hit that subscribe button to watch my future videos as well. The most important element in fiction after plot is the character, and every writer may choose a method for his or her characterization. The character generally is a person or a being given the characteristics of a person. For example, the pigs in the Animal Farm by George Orwell. This character may appears, acts, speaks, narrates, or even referred to in a literary work, especially fiction. Characters can be identified by the role they play in relation to the story. They may be heroes, heroines, anti-hero, protagonist, antagonist, the villain, the superhero, and so on. In addition to these roles in the story, we can also classify the characters into 5 important types. And be patient, I will come to that 7 methods of characterization very soon in this video. The first type of character is flat character. A flat character is only 2-dimensional and is described very generally without details. Usually minor characters in fiction and movies are flat characters who are not changed or developed throughout the story. The second type of character is round character. In contrast to the flat characters just described, we have round characters who are 3-dimensional, complex, and more lifelike. These characters change and grow throughout the story, and we see almost always major characters in fiction are round. The third type of character is a stock character. Stock characters are simple ones who are expected to appear in a certain literary form. For example, we expect a beautiful, charming prince to be appeared and to be present in a fairy tale. These are the characters who are frequently used in the literary traditions, and they do not necessarily represent a particular class or group of people. The fourth type of character is type characters. A type character embodies the characteristics of a particular group of people or class of people. When we discuss about these characters, we usually refer to them as representatives of, for example, middle classes, lower classes, or any other classes or a bunch of people. The fifth type of characters is stereotype characters. Stereotype characters, as the name may suggest the meaning, are those who are predictable and they are repeated in the tradition of literary genres without varying that much. This type of character is very similar to stock characters, but stereotypes are more clear. For example, a hero is traditionally portrayed as honorable, brave, and strong. So we can expect somehow what is going to happen to this character throughout the story. Now that we understand about the different types of characters, we must pay attention to the development of these characters throughout the story and how the author manages these characters in the plot and how he plays with them like a game of chess. The question is how the writer of fiction creates the environment for the characters to move around and do the actions. How these characters are shaped in the hands of the author. And what are the methods or techniques the author uses to accomplish this masterful characterization. Here are 7 methods. Number 1 is the disclosure of character through stereotyping. This method of characterization involves a character with a group about which we have certain cultural assumptions, stereotypes. For example, when a character is a West Texas cowboy who is visiting Boston for the first time, we make certain assumptions concerning his dress, his speech, his characteristics and traits, which are based on our stereotypical pictures in the mind. This interesting method can help the writer to characterize easier because he kind of uses the reader's pre-existing knowledge about a certain group or class of people. So he uses that pre-existing knowledge to characterize his characters throughout the story, and the reader, because he knows the character's traditional stereotype, will understand and know that character, and this heightens the level of understanding of the novel. Number 2, disclosure of character through exposition, which is the simplest way of characterization. The author simply tells you about the character. Very simple. This method includes the description of the character's background, motivating forces, personality traits, relationships, or even physical descriptions. Generally, we can trust this information about the characters until proven to be otherwise by characters' own words, thoughts, or even actions. Number 3, disclosure of character through the character's actions. A significant element to consider when examining characterization is to judge the characters based on what they do in different circumstances. For example, what does the character do in the time of crisis? Or how does he react to different situations and conflicts? One of the interesting points here is to put ourselves in the character's shoes to see what we would do or react in the like situations. This is a very good way to not only judge ourselves, but also to understand the moral and ethical values presented in the plot of the story. Number 4, disclosure of character through the character's words. One of the great ways to know the characters is through their own words, but we need to consider some important facts in this regard, and we need to ask some important questions about these words and dialogues of the character. To whom is he or she speaking? What is the context and motivation behind the character's words? Are these words the true reflections of the character's thoughts and feelings? It is better to look for unintentional revelations of the characters, because sometimes they are angry, sad, depressed, or in a crisis, and we cannot totally trust their words. Number 5, disclosure of character through character's thoughts. The character's thought can be a rich source of information about him or her, and the writer do this through the use of interior monologue or stream of consciousness, for example, such as the ones we see in Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse, or James Joyce's Ulysses. Sometimes these thoughts include elements of self-delusion, and we must be aware of that. But most of the times, these thoughts are penetrating, discerning, discriminating, and provide valuable information for the critic. Number 6, disclosure of character through the words of others. When the focus of our analysis is on the main character, one of the suitable sources of information is to listen what other characters feel and think about that main character. Of course, the motives of characters are important here, and feelings like hatred, love, and sympathy, and so on, can affect their judgments. The context of the story can help you to understand the hidden motives of different characters, which limits the possibility of misrepresentation and also misunderstanding of our target character. Number 7, and also the last one, is the disclosure of character through the use of setting. The setting of the story is full of information about the time and place in which characters are playing and moving around. On the one hand, the era or the country in which the story takes place give the primary information about the character and the story. For example, the characters we see in novels by Dickens can be judged based on the general social atmosphere of the Victorian times. This happens also in our real lives, and people are constantly affected by the environment and the setting around them. On the other hand, a part of setting refers to weather and climate changes in the story, which is an indirect way of giving information about the characters. Snowy, rainy, dry, hot, cold, sunny weather. It gives information about the character's mentality and also psychological status. As you see, characterization can be accomplished by telling or showing through actions, dialogues, settings, motivational forces, and through many other means. Knowing the characters, their thoughts, their feelings, and the role they play in the plot is an essential part in understanding the literary works. I hope you found this video helpful, and be sure to subscribe this new channel about topics related to literature. I will upload videos every Saturday and Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Take care.